The star station Halloran 5 floated quietly above the burned surface of Grelon. It was a neutral zone, built for peace talks between different species after years of war. Its metal halls were clean, its systems guarded by both human and alien technology. Tom, a human security officer, stood near Dock Bay 3. His job today was simple: escort and guard the ambassador from the Zellery Empire. But he already knew this wouldn't be a normal assignment. The ambassador wasn't just any visitor. She was Lady Varel, a highborn noble of the Zelari. Name alone made officers whisper. Some called her the Cold Empress. Others said she had never smiled in her life. She was rumored to have powerful psychic abilities enough to control weak minds. Most humans were nervous around her. Tom wasn't. He adjusted his armor vest and stood tall as the ship landed with a low hum. The ship's ramp opened slowly. 4 armored Zelari guards walked out first, tall and silent in dark silver suits. Then she appeared. Varel was graceful, her movements slow but strong. Her skin had a soft silver tone, her eyes deep violet, glowing faintly like 2 small suns. Her hair fell behind her like black water, and she wore a long blue robe with thin lines of gold across the edges. She didn't walk, she glided the moment she stepped onto the station. Everyone else stepped back. Tom didn't move. Their eyes met. Varel's gaze was cold. Most humans lowered their heads under her stare. Tom didn't. He looked straight at her, calm and steady. It was just a few seconds, but something passed between them. She blinked once, as if surprised. A Zellery guard stepped forward and spoke in a flat voice. "This is Ambassador Varel, voice of the Eastern Stars, daughter of the Great Mind, protector of the ancient ways." Tom raised his hand slightly. "Understood. Welcome aboard." "I'm Tom. I'll be your assigned security detail." The Zellery guard frowned. "You will address her properly." Varel lifted one hand. The guard went silent at once. She looked at Tom. "You are the one they chose?" "Yes," Tom said. She studied him for a moment longer, then turned and walked forward. Tom followed behind. Staying at a respectful distance as they moved through the station halls, the tension was heavy. Varel didn't speak, and neither did her guards. Tom noticed how everyone else cleared the path ahead. No one dared cross her steps. Even senior officers stood aside. They reached the VIP wing. Varel's quarters were at the end of a long hallway. Before she entered, she finally spoke. "I do not require protection." Tom kept his tone calm. "It's protocol. After what happened. During the last talks, security has been doubled. I can defend myself." "I believe that," Tom said. "Still, I'm here." There was a flicker in her expression, not quite anger, something like curiosity. She turned and entered her room. The door slid shut. Later that night, as Tom stood outside her door, arms crossed. He had seen many species in his career. Traders, soldiers, nobles, even criminals from 5 systems. But something about Varel was different. Not just her power. Her presence. Like a wall of ice, suddenly, the alarm lights turned red. Explosion reported in Sector C12. Emergency lockdown. In progress. Tom's radio buzzed. "All units, report in. There's been an attempted breach." Then came a second message. "VIP wing possible threat detected. Protect the ambassador." Tom was already moving. As he reached the corridor near her quarters, 2 masked figures came into view. They were dressed in black, holding plasma knives. No identification. Mercenaries, one of them rushed forward. Tom ducked low, grabbed his arm, and slammed him into the wall. The second attacker lunged. Tom blocked the strike, spun around, and hit him hard in the side. Both attackers dropped. Tom reached Varel's door and knocked sharply. "It's me. Open the door." It slid open. Varel stood there, calm but alert. Her eyes moved over him, then to the 2 attackers on the floor. Tom stepped inside. "You okay?" She nodded once. "You fought well." "Thanks," Tom said, checking. "The room for any hidden threats?" Her eyes stayed on him. "You didn't hesitate." "Didn't have time to," he said. "You risked your life." "That's my job, no," she said softly. "Oh, Most would wait. Most would call for backup. You moved without fear. Tom looked at her. You don't seem afraid either. I was trained not to be. He paused. Still, everyone has something they fear. Virel tilted her head. Do you? Tom smiled faintly. Losing people, letting others get hurt when I could have done. Something. She studied him for a long time, then said, I will allow your presence. Tom raised an eyebrow. I appreciate the honor. A small flicker crossed her face. Almost a smile, but it vanished quickly. She turned away in the station command room. The council reviewed the incident. No one claimed responsibility for the attack. It didn't seem like a random act. Someone wanted to stop the peace talks before they even began. Tom filed his report. Virel gave her statement with perfect calm. Her voice was smooth, her words exact, but her eyes kept drifting toward Tom as he stood silently near the wall. The next morning, the station was quiet but tense. Repairs had begun in the damaged corridor, and guards were posted at every entrance. The failed attack had changed the mood. Everyone knew now peace was not guaranteed. Tom stood outside Virel's quarters, alert as always. He hadn't slept much, but he didn't show it. His body was tired, but his mind stayed sharp. The door opened. Virel stepped out, dressed in a long silver coat over her usual robe. Her eyes scanned the hallway, then landed on Tom. You are still here, she said. Tom gave a small nod. Till they say otherwise. I told them I don't need protection. Read that in your file, Tom said calmly. Virel narrowed her eyes just slightly. You read my file? Of course. Wait. It helps to know who I'm guarding. She folded her arms. And what did you learn? That you were trained by the mind scholars of Zelleria. You led 3 successful diplomatic missions. Could sense fear, lies, and aggression using your mind. Virel waited, expecting more. Tom added, you also once stopped a riot just by speaking a few words? That's impressive. For a moment her eyes softened. Most guards only see the title, she said. You see more? I see a person who's walking into dangerous talks with enemies all around, Tom said. Just like me. She stared at him for a long second. You compare yourself to me? Not exactly, he said, giving a small smile. You dress better. To her own surprise, Virel let out a very quiet breath, something close to laughter. She quickly turned away, hiding her reaction. Come, she said. We're late for the morning meeting. The meeting room was large, filled with high-ranking humans and Zellari representatives. They sat across from each other at a long oval table. Above them, holographic maps floated, showing battlefields, lost colonies, and trade zones. Tom stood. Behind Virel, arms behind his back, silent. Virel spoke with calm control. Her voice was smooth and steady as she addressed the human commander, Marshal Rake. About border disputes. Tom noticed how her presence dominated the room. Every time she spoke, the others listened. No stuttering, no wasted words. She was firm, but not cruel. Still, tension was heavy. Suddenly, one of the Zellari aides stood and whispered into Virel's ear. She turned slightly, then looked directly at Marshal Rake. I have just received news. 2 Zellari supply ships were destroyed on the edge of Sector 9. Human signatures were found at the scene. Murmurs rose in the room. Rake leaned forward. We haven't sent patrols that far. It could have been pirates using stolen gear. Virel's voice cooled. And yet every time we offer peace, we are met with shadow attacks. How do you explain this? Tom could feel the heat in the room rising, hands clenched, words sharpened. He stepped forward slightly and spoke gently but clearly. Perhaps we should pause here. Emotions are high. We don't want another war over a misunderstanding. The room fell silent. Everyone looked at Tom, even Virel. Her violet eyes settled on him. She could have dismissed his words, or silenced him with a thought, but instead, she said softly, perhaps, you are right. After the meeting, Tom walked beside Virel through the hall. You could have pushed harder in there, he said. I do not wish to push. I wish to be heard, Virel replied. But when voices rise, reason is lost. Tom nodded. You handled it well. She paused, then asked, "Why did you speak?" "I saw where it was going," Tom said. "Sometimes a quiet voice can stop a loud mistake." She looked at him with an unreadable expression. "I underestimated humans," she admitted. Tom shrugged. "Most people do." They continued walking. Later that day, Tom and Virel were scheduled to inspect the lower engineering sector, a neutral place where humans and Zalari engineers worked together. But the deeper levels of the station were older, less secure. As they entered the corridor, the lights flickered. Tom's hand moved to his sidearm. "Something's off." Virel's eyes narrowed. "I feel it too. Mine's hiding." Suddenly 3 figures appeared ahead, masked and armed. "Down!" Tom shouted, pulling Virel behind a large pillar. Shots fired, beams of plasma lit up the hallway. Tom returned fire, covering their escape path. Virel closed her eyes, reached out with her mind. And one attacker froze in place, dropping his weapon. The other 2 rushed forward. Tom charged one, blocking a blade with his arm guard and striking the attacker's chest hard. The second moved. Toward Virel, she ducked smoothly and struck the attacker's head with a precise psychic pulse. Moments later, all 3 were down. Tom breathed heavily. "You okay?" Virel nodded. "We must leave now. There may be more." They ran down. The battle was over. The team had won. But something strange remained not on the field. But inside Lena, her armor hummed softly as she walked beside Adam through the stone corridor back to base. The blue glow of her upgraded shield still danced. Across her arms, it felt warm. It was almost comforting. She had felt power before. She had trained with high-level alien tech. But this was different. It wasn't just the armor that felt stronger. It was herself. She glanced at Adam. He was talking with another soldier, Mira, about the drone tactics. He moved with confidence, but spoke simply, always calm. Even after battle, he didn't show off. He didn't raise his voice. And earlier, when he fixed her armor, he didn't brag, he just helped. Lena quickly turned her head. Her cheeks felt hot again. She didn't know why. Back at the outpost, repairs were underway. Engineers moved in and out of the war room. Some walls still had scorch marks. Lena stood in the hallway, while Adam met with the captain. She looked down at her armor. She gently touched the spot where he had added the new stabilizer crystal. It pulsed with soft blue light, perfectly balanced. "I shouldn't feel this way," she whispered to herself. "Feel what way?" a voice asked. Lena jumped. It was Mira, the squad's medic. A young human girl with sharp eyes and quick hands. Nothing," Lena replied, looking away. Myra smiled. "You been acting a little different since the mission?" "Have not changed." "Oh, really? You used to hide behind crates? Now you're charging drones." "I did what was necessary." Mira tilted her head. "Is it because Adam fixed your armor?" Lena stayed silent. Mira's grin widened. "Or is it because Adam smiled at you while he was fixing it?" Lena's face turned slightly purple again. "It's all right," Mira said. "Humans and aliens. We're not that different when it comes to feelings. You're just quiet about it." "I do not understand these feelings," Lena said softly. "They are unfamiliar." Mira shrugged. "You don't have to understand them. Just don't ignore them." Before Lena could reply, Adam appeared from the side hallway. "Lena, Captain wants to see both of us." She straightened. Understood. They walked together down the hall. The captain's office was filled with old battle maps, medals, and one broken chair that nobody dared sit in. Captain Rhodes stood behind his desk, arms crossed. He was a gruff man with gray hair and a scar down one cheek. He looked at Lena first. "You did well," he said. "Very well." "Thank you," Lena replied. "I heard your new shield held strong." Lena nodded. "Yes." Adam repaired it. Rhodes looked at Adam. "Good work. You saved your squad more than once out there." Adam said nothing, just gave a small nod. Rhodes turned back to Lena. "We have a new mission. Recon in the Northern Valley. Stealth, not combat. You two will go together, Just us? Adam asked. Yes, quiet light team. If there's trouble, you pull out. Understood? Both nodded. You leave at first light. That night, Lena stood on the outpost roof watching the stars. The cold air brushed her face. Her armor was powered down, and her hair moved gently. In the wind, she didn't hear Adam arrive. But she sensed him. You always stand alone? He asked. It is peaceful here. He stood beside her. The stars stretched far above, silent and endless. Tomorrow's mission might be long, he said. I am ready. He looked at her. You're different than when we first met. How so? You used to avoid me. You used to ignore. Me. Adam blinked, then smiled. Fair enough. Lena looked at the stars. I didn't trust humans before, I thought. You were careless, and now? She turned her head slightly. Now I think some humans are careful, kind, honest. Adam said nothing, but she could feel his gaze. I was afraid, she whispered. Not of battle, of people, of letting someone close. Adam's voice was quiet. Me too. They stood in silence. The stars above, the earth below, and between them, something gentle, something growing. Lena reached up and touched her chest plate, where he had fixed the broken part. Her fingers rested lightly on the metal. Thank you, she said. For fixing more than just my armor. Adam looked at her, and for the first time he felt something he couldn't explain. A warmth not from the stars, not from the tech. From her, and though neither of them said it, they both knew. Tomorrow's mission wasn't just about recon. It was about trust, about change, and maybe something even more. The sun rose early, casting golden light over the base. It touched the watchtowers, the walls, and the quiet hills stretching out beyond the outer fence. In the distance, a thick forest surrounded the northern valley, where the next mission waited. Adam checked his gear and tightened the straps on his pack. His rifle was fully charged, and his comms were linked to the command center. He looked across the small launch pad. Lena stood in silence, her armor powered up, blue shield pulsing lightly. Around her, her long silver hair was tied back. Her expression was calm, but her eyes carried focus and something else. A quiet glow that hadn't been there before. You ready? Adam asked. I am, she replied. And you, always. The two boarded the Scout Flyer, a small silent hovercraft built for two. It lifted gently into the sky and flew toward the forest beyond the hills. Inside the forest, the valley was quiet. No signs of battle, no voices, no machines. Just trees tall, thick, and green and mist floating between them. The hovercraft landed on a rocky patch beside a waterfall. From there they would travel on foot. Let's stay low, Adam said, checking his scanner. Signal interference is strong here. If there's anything hiding, we won't see it until we're close. Lena nodded and followed. For the next 2 hours, they walked in silence. Birds flew overhead. Insects buzzed. Sunlight danced through leaves. It was peaceful but tense. They passed old ruins from the early war's broken weapons. Rusted armor and large stone carvings left by unknown hands. Lena stopped beside one. This was Zellery territory long ago, she said. You recognize? This place? She nodded. My ancestors used to call it Whispering Ground. They believed voices from the past could be heard here. Adam looked around. Seems quiet to me. Some voices don't speak with sound. Adam raised an eyebrow but said nothing. He respected her beliefs. The signal by midday, the forest thinned. Adam's scanner beeped. Got something, he said. A weak energy trail about half a mile northeast. They followed it until they reached a cave entrance hidden behind thick vines. The scanner blinked faster. This is it, Adam said. The source is inside. Lena activated her helmet. Lenzen scanned the cave. No life forms detected. But there's a faint power signature, same as the drone tech we fought earlier. Adam drew his weapon. Let's move. Carefully. They entered the cave. Inside, it was dark and cold. Metal wires ran along the walls, half buried in stone. Strange symbols were carved near the ceiling's Alari script mixed with unknown shapes. Suddenly, Lena stopped. "What is it?" Adam asked. "This marking," she said, touching one symbol. "It's not from my world. It's from the Makers. The Makers." Lena looked uneasy. They were a race who came before. Even before Zelari history, some believe they created the first weapons. Others say they were peaceful scientists. Adam frowned. So why is their tech mixed with a drone signal? Before Lena could answer, the cave shook. A hidden wall opened, revealing a chamber with a glowing sphere in the center. The sphere pulsed with energy, floating above a stone pedestal. "Is that the source?" Adam asked. Lena stepped forward slowly. "Yes, but this energy, it's not just power, it's memory." Suddenly, images flickered around them, projections from the sphere, glimpses of space battles, planets breaking apart, machines rising. One image froze in front of them, a tall figure in alien armor, holding out a cube of light toward a group of humans. They knew each other, Lena whispered. Back at base, the others could feel it. Too, something between Adam and Lena had shifted. They weren't just teammates anymore. There was a soft connection growing between them, been spoken, but clear. Still, neither said anything out loud. Not. Yet Captain Bren, an older soldier with sharp eyes, called for a mission debrief. "Temple mission was a success," Bren said, pacing. "But that old drone nearly turned you both into toast." "We shut it down," Adam replied. Lena handled the code like a pro. Bren raised an eyebrow. "She's not military. She's useful," Adam said, "and brave." Lena said nothing, but her hand was steady on her chest plate. Bren muttered. "Well, that drone core you brought back? Our engineers cracked it open. It had data we didn't expect. Coordinates? Enemy coordinates." Lena straightened. "Enemy. Hidden outpost. Southeast Ridge. It's possibly connected to the tech smuggling route." Adam frowned. "You want us to check it out?" Bren nodded. "You and Lena. Quiet recon, no direct engagement unless necessary." Lena didn't hesitate. "We'll go." That night, as they packed their gear, Adam looked over at her. She was adjusting her armor, tightening the shoulder plates. "You sure you're okay?" he asked. "Yes," she replied, not looking up. "You've been quiet since the temple." She paused, then said, "I've never held someone's hand before." Adam blinked. "Ah." "I didn't know if it was the right thing to do," she added. "It was," he said softly. She finally looked at him. Her eyes were warm. Her cheeks, just slightly pink. "I don't want this to distract us," she said. "It doesn't," he said. "It keeps me focused. Makes me want to protect you even more. I can protect myself," she said, smirking. "I know," he smiled. "Still, I'll always try." They left at dawn. The southeast ridge was quiet, covered in thick gray grass and old satellite ruins. But as they scanned the area, hidden signals pulsed faintly from beneath the ground. "There's something here," Lena said, kneeling beside a broken pillar. "A hidden entrance." Adam touched the ground. "Feels hollow." She activated a scanner and found a hatch buried just beneath the grass. Adam pried it open, revealing a narrow tunnel leading down into darkness. "You first," she asked. Together, he replied. They climbed down and entered the underground base. Inside, it was colder, lined with old tech, flickering lights and dusty air. But more than that, there were signs of life, fresh supplies, recently used systems. "They were here," Lena whispered, "but not long ago." Suddenly, a noise echoed through the hall-taught footsteps. They ducked into the shadows as a patrol passed humanoid figures in dark armor, faces hidden, weapons ready, not drones. Humans. Adam's heart sank. Smugglers, working with enemy tech. "We have to report this," Lena whispered. Adam nodded. "But first, let's find proof." They crept through the corridor, avoiding patrols, until they reached a control room. Inside were communication logs and maps. Lena copied everything to her wrist unit. "We got it," she said. But as they turned to leave, an alarm suddenly blared. One of the smugglers had spotted their footprints. "Go," Adam shouted. They ran through the tunnel as red lights flashed. Behind them, blasts rang out, striking the walls. Lena's shield flared up, holding strong. They reached the hatch just in time. Adam slammed it shut, dropped a grenade down the tunnel, sealed it with debris. The explosion rumbled below. They lay in the grass, breathing hard. "That was close," Adam said, coughing. Lena turned toward him and smiled. "You're getting slower," she teased. He laughed. "Or you're just faster now." Their hands brushed as they stood. For a moment, they didn't move. Then Lena took his hand again. No words. Just warmth and understanding. Something had changed, and neither of them wanted to go back. Rain fell hard as the drops hit the steel roof of the outpost like steady drums. Adam stood beside the window, watching the wet skies turn gray and loud with thunder. The Southeast Ridge mission had shaken him, not just because of the danger, but because of what they had discovered. Enemy smugglers, human traders, using alien tech, hiding in tunnels just beneath the surface. And now, Command had given them new orders. Return to the Southeast base and lead a full strike mission to clear it out for good. Adam had faced plenty of risks before, but something about this mission made his chest feel heavier. Maybe it was because Lena was going with him again, or maybe it was because now, when he looked at her, he didn't just see a teammate. He saw someone he didn't want to lose. Lena entered the room, her armor still damp from morning drills. Her violet eyes glanced toward the window, then settled on Adam. "They approved the strike," she said softly. "I know," Adam nodded. "We leave tomorrow." Silence hung. The sun was rising over the horizon, casting soft orange light over the battlefield. The enemy forces had been pushed back after the intense fight at Ridge 9, and a quiet calm was settling in. Adam and Lena stood side by side on a small hill overlooking the valley below. Their squad had secured the area and the relay tower was fully operational again. Soldiers moved busily around them, repairing equipment and checking for any damage. Lena looked at the glowing shield surrounding the tower. It pulsed gently in the morning light, a reminder of the hard work and bravery it took to restore it. "I never imagined I'd feel like this," she said quietly. "Like I belong here." Adam smiled, watching her. "You belong anywhere you want to, not just here?" She blushed faintly, the familiar violet tint returning to her cheeks. This time she didn't hide it. Adam took a deep breath. "You changed a lot since we first met. Stronger, braver, and yous. You're not afraid to be yourself anymore." Lena looked down, then back up at him. "You helped me see who I really am." "Maybe it was always there," Adam said gently. "You just needed a little push." She smiled softly. "And you were that push." For a moment, the two of them stood quietly, sharing the peaceful morning. Then Lena's cum beeped. She glanced at it, her expression serious. "Command wants us back at base for a debrief. They want to discuss the future." Adam nodded. "It looks like our work isn't over yet." As they started down the hill, Lena paused and looked at Adam. "Thank you," she said sincerely, "for believing in me, for fixing my armor, but more than that, for trusting me." Adam smiled. "I always did." They walked side by side toward the waiting transport, ready to face whatever came next together, back at base. The debrief room was filled with officers and commanders. Maps and holograms flickered in the air, showing battle lines, resources, and enemy movements. Commander Doyle stood at the front, nodding as Lena and Adam entered. "We heard your report," he said, voice more respectful than before. "Your work saved the relay tower and possibly many lives." "Well done." Lena stepped forward. "The lab underground contained dangerous technology. We secured it and prevented it from falling into enemy hands." Doyle nodded. "And the man you encountered?" "We detained him," Adam added. "He was trying to use the lab's core to control weapons without regard for others." Doyle's eyes narrowed. "That kind of ambition is dangerous." "Yes, sir," Lena said. "That's why we must work together, humans and aliens too. Prevent such threats." There was a silence. Then Doyle smiled slightly. "I agree. Your actions have proven the value of cooperation. Adam glanced at Lena. They shared a quiet smile. Days passed, and peace slowly returned. Lena continued her training with Squad 6, teaching others about the hybrid technology and combat tactics she had learned. Her blush became a sign of her growth, her confidence, and her willingness to be seen. One evening, as the sun set in deep reds and purples, Adam and Lena sat outside the base's mess hall. The air was cool and calm. Adam looked at her and said softly, "No, I never thought upgrading a shield would lead to all this." She laughed quietly. "Neither did I," he smiled. "I'm glad it did." They sat together, watching the stars appear one by one. Lena leaned her head on Adam's shoulder, feeling safe and finally at home. The future was uncertain, but whatever came, they would face it as a team.